Welcome to a Purpose to Profit Playbook Conversation. I got none other with me than my partner, Dr. David Daniel Simons, and marketing extraordinaire, Mr. Alex Hartsuff. And today, he's going to talk to you guys about how, he's been going out operating in this vein of purpose to profits in his agency coaching business and how you guys can go out and potentially make some money. So, I mean, if y'all want to make some money, you probably want to hang around for this conversation. So, Dave, I'm gonna let you start off with. Actually, you know what? Let's do this. Alex, why don't you start off by just giving people a brief introduction into what you do?
Yes. Hey everybody, my name is Alex. I run enterpriseclients.io. We specifically help agency owners to sign enterprise clients, which means 10K a month deals, right? My background, I started and sold an advertising agency in 2023, and then transitioned into coaching along the way about a year after selling the agency. And so now I work directly with agencies who want bigger, better clients to make more money, get more time, and ultimately get what everybody started their agency for in the first place, which is a lifestyle, freedom, and a pathway to real generational wealth. So that's what I do.
Strong, strong. So, Dave, where you want to go with this conversation, man?
Man, I'd like to start at the genesis of like, you know, straight up for people that are wondering, like what were your biggest challenges or frustrations, Alex, before coming into contact with what we have going on in P2P, and like what were some of the things that you were dealing with?
Yeah, I was very bound to, in when I ran the agency, we did everything like a one-to-one kind of sales model, right? Like you hop on a call, we go through all this stuff back and forth, whatever. And so I was doing that with the coaching program, and that's fine. We were getting some people through whatever, but it was a whole lot of chasing down leads, having the same conversation over and over and over again. And so, I actually went through one of y'all's challenges a couple months back, and I fell in love with the model itself. I really enjoyed the immersion. Like I felt it was super valuable. I got so much out of the week of like actually going through it that I was like, this makes so much sense for me, and I want to do that, right? And so I think for me, it was moving away from or just being frustrated with the typical one-to-one sales model that is usually there. And then in addition to that, this whole idea of coaching and consulting not being the same thing, and that coaching is not necessarily a business, it's a calling. And so I felt really called to that when I heard Brian talk about it in the challenge that I went to. And so it was both a change in how I wanted to acquire new clients, as well as how I wanted to actually deliver that service, so that I could create a true transformation in people, as opposed to just like giving them the answers, creating this level of codependency, which is what was happening previously. And so, yeah, both from a sales perspective and a delivery perspective, I wasn't happy with the way it was going, and it just made sense to do it the way y'all did.
So let me double click on that just a little bit, okay? Because we having a conversation now, post challenge, where by the way, you did how much in one day?
105 grand.
Okay, so y'all heard that part, right?
It's a pretty good day.
Now, I'm not letting Alex off the hook because we had conversations before he had his 105K day, at which time he was like, man, but I don't know. I really love being on sales calls. I really love doing one-to-one calls. I mean, I get that it's probably easier to talk to everybody at one time, but I don't know if it's going to convert as well, and I don't know if they get the value from it. So, I didn't record the call, but I kind of remembered a lot of it. And so, to hear this newfound revelation of selling one to many, first of all, how difficult was it for you to push past what was familiar to you and had seemingly a lot of success with in the past?
Yeah, definitely difficult, right? It was. I think part of it is just like having the belief that this is actually worth going. And for me, it's not worrying about whatever the outcome is, but knowing that. I think for me, I felt like I had been put in your challenge, in your path with both the two of you, because that's what God said that I was supposed to be doing. And so for me, it was like, I'm worried, I'm nervous, I don't know if this is right, but I don't think I'd be here if God didn't want me to do this. And so it's just throw caution to the wind, trust Him with the outcome, and then just put in the work on that side. And so it was definitely nerve-wracking. It was definitely something that was very uncomfortable and unfamiliar, but just trusted the process, followed exactly what you guys said, and not try to like change it up myself. And clearly it worked, which is great. And so, I did love one-to-one sales calls, but now, and I mentioned this to you earlier, I will never, ever do those again because, it's not that they don't work. It's not that they're not useful, but it's like if I can spend 5 days with somebody and genuinely give them great value where they walk away feeling like this was an incredible week, whether or not they continue along with us, that's so much more like meaningful for me. And so it's just a giant perspective shift, really.
So you
And I
came
just
in the
want to give
program.
context. Oh, sorry.
Oh, I was just real quick. So you came
Yeah,
in the program,
hmm
and how long did it take you to make the 105K?
that's exactly what I was
I
going to ask you.
think that I paid you guys, and then within 30 days, we finished the challenge. So talk about an ROI.
Yeah, let's talk about an ROI. So how much did you pay us, Alex? Remind me of that again.
Do you want to say 15 and then 105 on the backside? And that's the first
Okay, so
challenge.
you
We
paid
got
us
another one.
$15,000, which, by
I
the way,
did.
that is no longer the price for those that's watching. Just want to make that
Zero.
Sorry.
abundantly clear. Okay,
Sorry.
Alex actually came through our challenge. See, Alex, the more I think about your story, the more I gotta. So Alex came through our challenge that David and I did in November of last year. Yes, last year I said, and then for whatever reason, he didn't come into the program until February, the end of February of this year. So when Alex put his deposit down, at the time the price was $15,000, but not so we honored that for Alex. Okay, the price has
I
gone up
appreciate it.
twice since Alex has come in, but at the very same time, $15,000 he paid. 30 days later, made $105,000.
I'm gonna do it again in 6 weeks too.
Okay,
Let's
don't
go.
don't rub it in, bro. Don't rub it in. Okay,
Hey,
so
bro,
so, so let me
you
let
putting all
me
my
ask you.
business out there, so I mean,
Let
I
me
feel
let
like I
me.
got to
I
rub it
mean,
in a little bit.
we already
You
in it,
right.
so I'm like,
You
why
right.
stop
You
there,
right.
right? Like,
You right.
okay, so let's talk about that. You put down your deposit in November, right? You didn't come in for a couple of months. This happens more often than not,
Sure.
right? People have like this immediacy in the moment. They take an action, then they get in their mind, and I'm not putting words in your head or mouth, but I do want to hear from your head and mouth
Yeah.
about what was happening during that transition. Was it uncertainty? Like what? Like, can you take us on that journey with you?
Yeah, I think it was overthinking it. I think like genuinely, you didn't want to put words in my head or mouth, but you were actually correct. I think I was overthinking the whole thing. And so, it's hard to break out of old habits. And so I go through your challenge and I'm like, this is definitely what I need to do. And then, I put my deposit down, whatever else, and then somewhere in between then and after that, it was just like, well, let me just keep trying what I was doing before because I know I can make that work. So let me keep trying. And I got a couple of clients through. I think in January we got like 3 people. In February we got like 3 people. And so like we were getting some people through, and it's fine. And so I think it was just an overthinking, and well, let me just keep trying it my own way. And for lack of a better word, maybe spitting in the face of God by worrying so much. If I can be, very, very just transparent here. And so I mean, I don't know, man. As I look back, I'm just like, why didn't I just do this earlier and just do the first one in January as opposed to waiting? But hey, they say everything happens for a reason. So here we are.
That's right.
This is
You
true.
know, it's kind of like that teddy bear analogy. You've probably seen that meme where Jesus has a small, you're holding onto a small teddy bear, and Jesus is like, "Give me that small teddy bear," and then behind his back, he's got this big old teddy bear that he wants to give you. It's kind of like what happened.
Pretty much. Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah,
You bring up something that's and I appreciate the transparency, Alex, on
For
all
sure,
of
man.
it. Right? We just having as y'all probably have noticed in the chat, we just having a very unfiltered conversation to your benefit, and you bring up something that happens to all of us, right? That we not only do we get in our heads, but sometimes we settle for good instead of great. And there's messages for everybody out there that we may have something working for us right now that's working good, but there's always another level if we're willing to be okay with not being good anymore.
This is
The
true.
opposite of good is not bad. The opposite of good could also be great. I didn't mean to preach the sermon. It just happened. I have no
No,
idea,
no,
right?
no.
That one kind of hurt, man.
So what
So,
else you got? What you got, Dave? Let's talk to
man,
him.
there's so many things, right? Well, first, Alex, again, congrats, man.
Thank you.
What would you say? Because there are people that we serve in a challenge and will serve in a challenge, and their process from coming through our challenge and then going through to join, they might be skeptical. Like, can these guys? Me and Brian say it pretty loosely, 6 figure days and these things. You know, somebody's like, think, oh, that in the words of the kids, they say that's cap, right? Right, like you now experiencing it, like going in.
How they say it,
Did
Dave?
you? What were your thoughts going in, and then now experiencing that? Was it easier to experience what you've experienced, having a 6 figure day, as opposed to the way you've been doing it? And just add some color to those
Yeah.
listening.
So to give some context, it took me 3 years with my first agency to hit a 6 figure month. With this business, it has now taken me 3 months to hit a 6 figure month and technically a 6 figure day. And that's all because like I stopped doing what I was doing, which was trying to do this one-to-one sales call, whatever crap. Now that I think of it as, it's fine if you do, whatever. I'm not trying to be badmouth it, but going in that direction on selling to a group model made that so much easier for me than I ever expected. And just transparently again, when I went into it, I tried to remove myself from like whatever outcome that I thought might be possible, and I just focused all my attention and energy on like how do I make sure that I just make this content as valuable as possible for the people in there. And I'm like, dude, if I get one person, I'll be happy. If I get two people, I'll be ecstatic. And then we got seven, and so it's funny, I was trying to figure out what price I should sell it at, and then Brian said, "Well, sell seven of them at the current price, and then you'll know you should have charged more, right?" And then, sure enough, we sold exactly seven. So I think they call that divine intervention or something like that, right? And so, yeah, man, it was. I truly did not expect for it to go this well. I was going to be happy if one. I was happy if people just left feeling like it was a great time, and then turns out, we make 100 grand in a day. So yeah, a lot easier than expected. That's for sure.
That's good, bro. That's good.
Powerful.
Go ahead, Dave. You cooking?
Oh,
You go ahead.
I was just gonna say, the process that you went through working with Brian and I, right? Because there's a lot of programs out here, and you being an agency owner, a person that's obviously invested in yourself, and mentoring and coaching. What was your experience going through the Purpose to Profits Accelerator, working with Brian and I, and in your experience, the differences between that and maybe other programs or things? Because
Yeah,
sometimes people don't know what the inside looks like.
yeah. I've in the last 6 months, I purchased four programs, and so I like all of them I got good stuff out of. There's none of them that I feel like I didn't make some sort of ROI on or whatever else. And I believe that anybody who's going to make it work is going to make it work no matter what. And so the other three, like they were good for sure. This one, when I say that like you made this like when I say that I followed the playbook, it was literally okay. I had emails and funnel stuff that I need to make. David, you gave me all the funnels and all the emails and just dropped them right in my account. And we just changed the copy instead of saying purpose to profits, we changed it to say enterprise client, right? Like we just literally changed it with a little bit of wording difference, whatever. But like just copied the system directly, did not change anything, right? From the actual challenge itself, I just went back and I watched the replays over and over and over and over again and just followed the exact process for there. And so I think in a lot of other programs that I've had to join, and my point is this, it's like they give you some like high level kind of strategy or high level overview. Whereas this one, it was like, here is the play, do this exactly and it will work. And I'm like, sure, maybe it'll work, whatever, I'll give it a shot. And then it works way better than I thought it would. And so it was just, you guys were super helpful throughout the entire time. Any questions I had, Brian helping me the week of the challenge, like actually hopping on with me, doing more than what was expected, which was super helpful for me. And so, yeah, man, it was far more than I expected, and I expected it to be good, right? And so it was phenomenal, man. And I enjoyed it too. It was like a very fun process to go through, which is something that I don't always associate with business as fun. Maybe I'm alone in that, but I really did enjoy it.
That's
So
strong. So I know you just talked about some of the steps, right,
Sure.
in the process. There's somebody out there that has all the gifting, all the acumen to be able to go out and position themselves as an authority and help people in some capacity, right? But they're suffering from imposter syndrome, and then they're almost wondering they haven't been in the world of funnels. They don't know the language. They don't like so some of the stuff that you're talking about. While they understand it, don't necessarily believe that it's doable for them. Would
Sure.
you say that the process is simplified to a point where even if somebody is coming in without a bunch of background in said area, as long as they're an expert at their thing, can they copy and paste what was done?
If they do what you say, it will work. So like I don't think it has anything to do with your funnel knowledge or whatever. I mean, you're just dropping stuff in my account and it's there. It's drag and drop, it's copy paste. It's like it's no the tech side was the least of any sort of thought process through this. Like I don't think there's any issue with that at all. Because you guys made it so easy and you were so helpful like throughout that process as well. And so I think that if people are willing to go, okay, there's somebody who's done the thing that I want to do, and I feel like I have a calling on my life to teach people, to lead people, to guide people in whatever field it happens to be. If you're willing to get out of your own way and just follow people who have not only done this themselves over and over and over again, but also help people like me do this, without a whole lot of issues, then I would say it's doable for anybody.
That's strong. That's strong. What what's some of your goals, Alex? With this new business model,
Yeah.
with your community, your program, what's some of your goals?
Yeah, I mean, I think that I used to think of goals in like monetary value. Like when we built the first agency, it was like, how do I get to a million, 2 million, 3 million, 5 million, whatever. And that's fine. I think for me, like I'm far more concerned at this point in my life of how do I have the biggest impact I can on the most amount of people who are in the field dealing with the problem that I can help them with because I also live that problem. And so I think for me, like I don't, sure, would I love to hit $1 million this year? Sure. Do I think that's possible? Definitely. But that's not for me when I wake up every day. I'm like, oh, I want to hit $1 million. Like that's what drives me. It doesn't drive me anymore. What drives me is like I feel like I have this calling on my life, and my goal is to serve that to the best of my ability. Frankly, come hell or high water, like no matter what's in my way. And so my goal is to do the thing that I feel like God has put me on this earth for in this season, like to the best of my ability. And if I feel like if I do that, everything else will work out typically better than I expect. Because my goal for the challenge was not 100 grand. My goal for the challenge was hopefully let's get one person to the door and we'll be super happy and let's just make sure that people get value out of it. And then God says, "Hey man, you followed what you're supposed to do. Here's $100,000." That's pretty cool, right? And so for me, it's not so much about money anymore. It's just service of the thing that I feel like I'm supposed to do.
That's strong.
just to piggyback off Brian's question here, like, what would you say about the person you've become? And we want your honest answer. Um, Going through the challenge to where you are today, do you see a difference in who you are?
Yes, I do. I think that one of the things, and it's funny, man, when I was like the week before the challenge, I was feeling very, very nervous. Like that I want it to be good. I want to make sure it's valuable for everybody. And just so much of that like internal pressure on myself and trying to make sure that I am whatever I need to be able to do that or all this pressure. And so I think by pushing through that and just giving it up to God and following through on that side, I think that it's made me much more, and I don't know if this is as much a difference in a character trait or who I am as much as my like perspective on life and what's going to happen. Like I am 100% certain. I was pretty certain before, but I'm 100% certain now that like everything will work out fine the way that it's supposed to. And I think the challenge is the challenge is what made me do that, right? And so many of my own limiting beliefs around what's necessary, even on a business sense, have been completely smashed on that side. Just little things, and I'll give you an example. Like, I always thought that people had to, like, I had to spend all this time with people for them to trust me or whatever else. And while we doing the challenge, like, I had somebody who'd come into the challenge who he didn't even buy VIP. He just came for the sessions and he went all the way through when he joined. And so it's like all of these pressures that I used to put on myself, I think have been alleviated by and that came to fruition by being willing to just push through this challenge, leaving it up to God and seeing what happened. And it was great. And so I don't know if it's a character trait difference as much as it's just like a life perspective difference, but that's made a world of difference already for me.
Wow.
Do you think that because we teach from biblical principles
Yes.
that that's one of the reasons why the success is replicatable for anybody willing to do it?
Not even a question. Like, not even a question. It's not at all. Like, I I feel like I've gone through some sort of spiritual experience over the last 3 months doing this, and like that's not an exaggeration by any means. And so I think that because you teach based on fundamentals that have been around for whatever 2,000 plus years, however long it's been, who knows, that's something that anybody who's willing to lean into it can do. It's not about being special. It's not about being Elon Musk or some great speaker or whatever else. It's just like, you follow the book, and then you follow the people who have taken that book and turned it into a literal playbook on a business perspective, and just following that. And so I think it's replicatable because it's not something that you guys just made up out of nowhere. It's built off of principles that have been around as long as time has.
Yeah, that's strong. That's strong. You guys, man, if we take a question, somebody put a question in the chat.
Go for it.
So, question is, are there business models that don't fit the program's criteria, i.e., nonprofit, service-based charity? Dave, you want to tackle that one?
Oh yeah. I love this question. Nonprofits, charities are all business. All of them. Every single one of them. Ask your pastor. If you got a pastor, they're running a business.
Hopefully,
They have,
hopefully they run the business.
yeah, hopefully, right. um, all of so literally from a tax code perspective, the only difference in those kind of organizations is the tax structure. That's it. Like they have to deliver value of some sort. They have to, if they're making money, which they all should, have to report. So I get off the technical stuff, but then can this model work for very different organization types? Absolutely, as long as we serve coaches and consultants primarily. So as long as you're providing any type of advice, expertise, sharing your wisdom or your knowledge, then this model and this program can work for you. If you're not doing that, then it won't work for you. We are pretty exclusively focused on experts and people knowing their stuff. And even if there's levels of experts, right? So you could be a beginning expert, you could be a more advanced expert like Alex, but yeah, depending upon that, I would say.
Can you, David? Because somebody asked me this yesterday. I forget if I was on the live or podcast or whatever. The John C. Maxwell stat about for those that
Oh yeah.
struggle with imposter syndrome. Can you explain that again? Because I think some people still misconstrue like where they need to be in order to even lead other people.
Man. So John C. Maxwell Foundation did a research study in expertise, and they found that to be considered an expert, you need to know 10% more than your audience. So the reality is, let's use the example of underwater basket weaving. If I am an underwater basket weaving specialist, I only need to know a few steps ahead of you to be able to help you. I don't need to know everything there is to know. You probably just want to know how to do it underwater and how to weave it correctly and then be able to say, I got it done, right? Like, I can help you with that knowledge. Obviously, we're not advocating that you only have 10% more. You should have as much as possible. But don't let, as to Brian's point, don't let that stop you. and you'll see this in the marketplace all the time. I always use the example of Dr. Oz. Dr. Oz is not the greatest doctor in the world. Probably not in the most medically credible or sound in his wisdom and knowledge of what he shares, but he is the most well known, probably one of the wealthiest doctors in the world because he chose to serve his gift to the marketplace. And so that's the bigger decision. Are you willing to serve your gift, whatever level or percentage that you know more than the market? And those that are willing are going to reap the reward.
That's strong. That's strong. And just so you guys know, you more than welcome to put your questions in the chat. We'll pull them as we can. We just got a few more minutes on here, so if you do have questions, please go ahead, drop them in the chat. Now that you've kind of come in and you've got the proverbial peek behind the curtain, right? That's the marketing go-to. Let me show you a peek behind the curtain, right? So you've now gotten the real peek behind the curtain. Are there any limitations that you have in your business now with this new model?
I just got to make sure I can serve all the clients. Like that's really what it comes down to. And so, one of the cool things here, right, is like when you focus on what I might call the old model, right, which is one-to-one sales calls or whatever else, like you get sales, but they're few and far between. And so what was cool about the challenge is that, or group sales in general, is that I have all this cash that comes into the business like immediately. And so it gives me this influx of cash, which I can then use to reinvest in stuff. And so like for me, so I did this, we had this, I had 7 new people come to the door. So I'm like, okay, now I need to put more focus on customer success. And that's easy because I have additional cash that I can pull from, reinvest, whatever, as opposed to if I get one sale this week and one sale the next week, it's like all the other expenses, my personal, like all that stuff has to be accounted for, whatever. And so, I think the only limitation that I have at this point is making sure everyone gets served, which I'm not worried about because I have the cash flow to invest in customer service, customer success. And, now I also have you guys to lean on for how you guys serve all your clients, right? So I don't think there really is one anymore,
Yeah, that's good.
at least to this point.
And really quick to that point, and I know this is not your particular situation, but I think
Sure.
you still have enough context to speak to it. Because you just highlighted the fact that not only because you've learned the skill of selling one to many, serving one to many, but which I just thought of a different question, but I'm gonna ask you this one first anyway. But also having enough revenue to serve your clients at the highest level, to go and get additional resource, to not have to be the guy wearing 13 different hats and
Yes.
people feeling as if things are getting dropped in. So can you just talk a little bit about the importance for those that aren't selling high ticket or premium value of getting in an environment to learn how to so that they're not running on, lower price products, thinner margins with the potential of all these other pitfalls that you just mentioned?
Definitely. Yeah, I think that one of the issues that we run into as entrepreneurs, like you said, is wearing too many hats. And so what starts your business is acquisition. It's sales, it's getting people through the door. But then what continues and what grows your business is the retention. It's serving the people, it's making sure they get great results, which leads to case studies, testimonials, them sticking around longer so they continue to pay you, whatever. But if you have to have one foot in both sides, which is half the time I'm in acquisition, half the time I'm in retention, both of those things only get 50% of your energy and effort, which means they only get 50% of what they could. And so what's been great about this is like I can take this entire month of April and I am not thinking about getting a new client at all. And I can do that because I have all these people that have come in. I have this cash flow. But what that allows me is the ability to focus on these people so that they can get great results. So they're super happy. So then this compound interest essentially builds over time to where they go tell their friends, they post about it. I got these testimonials and reviews. And not only that, it's not only just selfishly great for the business, it's great for them because I'm doing this because I want to help them. And so if I have to spend all day chasing more cash, and that especially happens when you're selling stuff that's low ticket, then I don't have the availability or emotionally, physically, energetically, whatever, to be able to truly invest in those people. And so, yeah, it's you can't do everything at the same time, and that's what I was doing for since 2018, basically up until March 24th of this year. So it's certainly been a change for me.
That's good. What were you saying, Dave?
I was just gonna say, I mean, right? You're hitting on a big point here, Alex. That for us, for Brian and I, we talk about a concept that Brian coined called miserable millions, right? And we 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 don't want the people we serve to make a lot of money and not have that meaning and purpose behind it. It's very important for us. Yes, we want you to have 6 figure days, but we don't want you to have 6 figure days with 6 figure hell. We want you to have bliss, and that's what you've been describing. So, can you talk about just from you've made money? What does this money feel like? Making this amount of impact and making this amount of money and the amount of work that it takes, because this is what we're after for our students, is to have this, all of it, not just one component. So if you could speak to that.
Yeah. So the agency that I sold, right? We did great. We're doing $5 million a year. Fantastic, whatever. I was on a hamster wheel 24/7, chasing more deals, chasing client delivery, like always working all the time. Swap that to what I'm doing now, right? And so like when we hit our first 100K, I remember is November 2021 is when we hit our first 100K month in the old agency, and I hit that 100K month, and I'm like, I am miserable. This is terrible. I'm working 14 hours a day every single day. I can't take a break. Cool, we hit 100K a month. Now I got to do the whole thing again next month just to sustain. Compare that to this one, right? I took a page out of, when I say I follow the playbook, took a page out of Brian's playbook. We hit the 100K in a day on the challenge. We go to the Omni downtown in Dallas and we do a little staycation. And I'm like, this is cool. Like, I can chill. I ain't got to do nothing. And then I wake up on Monday morning and it's like, cool. Like, we're good to go. I can focus on these people and like I actually have a life. And so it's so different. Like, I can't even compare. It's one of those things that's hard to articulate if you haven't like been there, or hard to comprehend, I guess, if you haven't been there. But it's night and day, like legitimately. And when you say miserable millions, I lived that story. That's why I resonate with what you guys say. I know what that means, and so to make the cash and then now go, cool, that gives me runway, as opposed to, maybe the word I'm looking for is something along the lines of necessity to continue. I can't describe the feeling and how much different it is. Like, I can't put it into words, and I'm not one who usually struggles with words.
That's strong. And so you followed the playbook all the way up until taking a Sabbath afterwards. Like, that's crazy.
That seemed like the best. That seemed like the best part to me. Why wouldn't I do that?
So what I hear you say essentially is this new model, this new business model that you've adopted is a lifestyle business.
For sure, for sure. Because that's what I'm after.
Like, what's your fulfillment look like now? Let's quantify, right? Since we here,
Yeah.
let's quantify. What does the rest of the work look like for you now?
Yeah. So, and I'll just give the 100% of it, and not hold anything back, so everybody knows like exactly what I had to do. Right. So we spent a week doing the challenge, and so that was Monday to Saturday, and then the next week I had 7 people. So I did 1-to-1 calls with those people for that week. So that's 7 1-to-1 calls. That's 7 hours worth of work. And now this week, I have a group call on Tuesday. I got a group call on Thursday, and I think 3 other 1-to-1 calls. And then as far as fulfillment, like, that's it. Right. And so like, I have other time to make other stuff. Like, one of the things that I never got to do while I run the agency is like make content. And I enjoy making content because it's like my ability to articulate my opinions and thoughts. And so I never had the ability to do that. So, but now I'm looking at my schedule and I'm like, what am I supposed to do today? Like, I feel like I'm supposed to have more, genuinely, I opened up my calendar this week and I'm like, what do I do with all this time? And so I'm like, I'm calling Costco in the middle of the day, like, hey, let me put in and stuff that it seems so stupid, but it's stuff that like I never got to do running the old business. And it's I don't know, it's hard to articulate. And so like I can go in the middle of the day and grab lunch with my fiance and like we can do whatever. And so that's what I always envisioned when I started the first agency, and I never really got that. And so now being able to have a different model on how we do this has made that possible. So I'm very grateful.
So just to make sure I understood correctly, right? So you got challenge week, you got 7 onboarding calls essentially, you got 2 fulfillment calls for the group, and then you got
Correct.
2 other one-off calls that you got to take with others, right?
Yeah.
Very seldom can you name somebody's entire schedule for a month, right? But
Yeah.
I was able to recap yours in just this
Oh
short
yeah.
little exchange.
Yeah. I mean,
So
there's some
most
back and
people,
forth on Slack, but that's it. Like it's super simple.
yeah. So let's just say worst case, right? Most people work 50, 60 hours a week now. You talking about working less than 40 hours a month now.
When you
That's
put it like that, I feel like I need to work more. I feel like I need to find some more stuff to do. I feel like I need to start another business or something. Yeah, pretty much. From a fulfillment standpoint, for sure. Yeah.
Mhm.
Crazy, crazy.
So Alex, I would ask, what would you say to that person that's watching this, that's considering, hey, you know what? I'm thinking about working with Brian and David, um, or I'm hesitant about working with Brian and David.
Yeah.
What would you
Uh,
say?
if you feel like you have a calling on your life and you feel like you are supposed to be in front of people, helping them, leading them to whatever goal, something that you've accomplished that they want to accomplish, there is not a better group of people to help you with that than Brian and David. Like it's not even close. And like I have been in the agency and the coaching space for almost a decade now, and like I've seen anybody and everybody selling anything and everything. And I've been in a bunch of groups, I've been in a bunch of programs, and there is nobody that cares more about your actual individual success than these two guys. And there's no one who I feel that I've run into who's more equipped to help you do that thing. Like it's so night and day from everything else that I've experienced, and like these people genuinely want to help you win. And so if you feel like God's put a calling on your life to lead, to serve, to help, to anything that involves helping a person have some sort of transformation in their life, there's no one better. Like, and this is trust me, this ain't no paid testimonial. Like this is genuinely what I've experienced, and I could not be more grateful that God put you two in my life. Genuinely,
Appreciate that, bro. Humble,
Thank you,
for
bro.
sure.
Appreciate it.
humble, bro. Humble. By the way, right? If any of you guys want to test drive the car, you can go to www.purpose2profitschallenge.com. David and I have a challenge coming up. Couple weeks, less than 2 weeks. The same thing
Right.
that Alex came through back in November. It's $17 and $47.
They're robbing you with that price.
$17 for general admission,
They are robbing you.
$47. By the way, VIP. Just tell them what happened in VIP, Alex. What they get for $47.
I spent 5 hours with you guys, like mind dumping. When I people are gonna think I'm so like dramatic when I say I had a spiritual experience at VIP. Like, are you? It's insane. To spend 5 hours with you guys for an extra $30. Like, bro, y'all gotta, y'all,
Don't
you're
say it like
you
that.
tripping at
My
that price
feelings
point.
got hurt,
You are
actually.
tripping at that price point. That should be a, like, I want to say it should be $1,000, but that's even underselling it. Like, it should be so much more expensive. But hey, you guys have a servant heart, so that's why you're willing to do it. So hey, more power to you.
I
My,
think I'm gonna
my
talk to.
challenge ain't even that cheap. So
I think I'm. I think I'm gonna talk to the Lord about that a little later
yeah,
today.
you should.
I don't
Yeah,
know when
you
you said it. When
should.
you said it the way you said it, I was like,
Yeah,
"Damn,
I'm
we
just
did that."
saying. I'm
Yeah.
just saying.
No, but we oversimplified the price to oversimplify the process, and it's up to you, right? If you have identified with what Alex is talking about, and you want that in your life, then it's simple. You just need to come to the challenge, check it out, right? Right? It's 17
Agreed.
and 47. I mean, I don't want to keep saying that out loud a lot. Okay, y'all heard me the first time.
By the time you
www.
click on that link, it ain't gonna be that price no more.
Purpose2profitschallenge.com. Alex, bro, we appreciate you sharing your gift with everybody. I could tell in the chat, tons of people benefited from this conversation today. David, thank you for your time as well, bro. And
Thank you, bro.
I think you just started a trend, Alex. We're gonna keep doing this because we got more. Like there's more where Alex came from. We just
Wow.
hadn't had these conversations, but we're gonna bring them on up. And
Well, I'm a little selfish. I hope y'all don't join that challenge so that I get more Brian and Davis time, and y'all don't get because I need all of it. So
you
you
see,
know,
You see?
Don't wait, because it's gonna be too long. I'm gonna pay him as much money as I can to keep him from doing more challenges.
He has started to talk about that, just so y'all know. Okay.
Just saying.
Any final words? Any final thoughts?
PurposeToProfitsChallenge.com. That's it.
Boom.
Appreciate you.
All right, we see y'all.
Listen.
Peace.